Hey, yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the second episode of the Into the North podcast. I'm your host, as always, Don the Jewla, aka Donnie Dweet. And of course, my partner in crime. He's the best thing out of Winnipeg since the road out of Winnipeg. Ladies and gentlemen, Cory Chan, how you doing this week, brother?
Hello. How's it going, my friend? How are you?
Good, man. Good, man. How's the weekend been?
That's good, man. Just been relaxing, taking it easy.
Absolutely. Got to take
And
it easy.
yourself?
It's cold around here. Had football practice, though, which was good.
Yeah.
Get the kids out running. They had last week off, so.
That's good, man.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
Yeah, man. We had a wee touch of snow, but we're supposed to get a whole heap, so it missed us. So we're ahead of the game on that.
That's great.
The weather's getting nice.
Same here, man. Finally going to be getting some warm weather this week.
Exactly. St. Patrick's Day is coming. St. Patrick's Day is always the tipping point for the weather.
Yes, it is. Are you guys getting a parade this year?
I don't know. I would hope so, but also it is super soon to pack, 150,000 people in the streets of St. Catherine. I don't even know if I'm estimating the number right. It could be more than that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like that's how big, right? So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to encourage it. I think some of the smaller municipalities around are going to do like a sort of outdoor open air gathering, if you will. That's not a parade, but they'll still have certain trucks drive down the road.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Any reason to celebrate.
Yep.
St. Patrick's Day is a hell of a day to celebrate.
Especially St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Haven't been to a parade since the kids have been born, actually.
Man, I remember some of the stories you've told me about those parades.
The city's no joke.
Yeah, no kidding, eh? No kidding.
Yeah, and neither are her friends when it comes to St. Pat's.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, we've been to the one in Hudson. It's nice. They usually have the step dances and they have all kinds of different trucks and fire trucks and all kinds of cool stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's a little more family friendly.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean? You can still walk around. You can still have beers. You can still do the whole St. Patty's Day parade thing. But it's there's not as many cops, but you're not going to get hooligans like let's go to the Hudson parade.
No kidding.
You bring your kids downtown, you're rolling the dice.
Yeah, over here in Winnipeg, we don't have exactly the biggest Irish population.
Yeah,
a lot of Ukrainians though.
There you go. Shout out to the Ukraine, man.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. But every tavern here, or pub, is definitely pouring green beers on St. Patty's Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's funny. So funny little story before we get into the meat of the podcast. St. Patrick's Day always reminds me of my favorite bourbon in the entire world.
Okay.
It's this cheap Kentucky bourbon from, obviously from Kentucky, but I only usually find it in the States. It's called Ezra Brooks, and it's delicious. And one year I went to New York to visit the family in Brooklyn, and I came back with a bottle of it, and we cracked it on St. Patrick's Day. And for some reason, that is one of the greatest parades I can remember. What I can remember of it.
I was going to say probably what you can remember.
Nope, but I remember, man, pouring, and that bottle of Ezra Brooks disappeared. And for some reason, that taste makes my memory flash back to that parade, and I'm always at almost peak happiness.
Right on, man. That's
so great. Shout out to Ezra Brooks and their subsidiaries, and sponsorship spots are available. We currently have 0, but we're working on it. But yeah, man, it's funny how you come across a drink and it becomes your favorite of all time.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting how that happens. Yeah.
Jägermeister, but like.
Yeah, the use and abuse of that in my day, for sure.
Oh man. Yeah, see, but I was raised on it. My aunt, my tante.
First time I ever had it, the Crevier Christmas, my friend.
Christmas.
The Crevier Christmas.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Oh yeah, for
delicious stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of people listening to this right now. Hopefully, we're gonna have tons of people listening to this, but people are gonna listen to it thinking about Jägermeister and just holding their liver, cracking up Pepsi, just remembering dark times.
Not a good thing to really be getting drunk off of, but the things we've done.
Well, sometimes the party takes you places you don't plan on going.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. So let's get into the main portion of the podcast. Lots of stuff's been going on in the NFL, buddy.
Yep, some big news today. Actually.
Just when you thought he was dead, there's pictures of him eating pie. and not being so stush and perfect, Tom Brady says, fuck it, I'm coming back. Let's run it back one more year. He's coming back to Tampa. I think it just reactivates his old contract, so I don't think the money changes.
I don't think that has anything changes there at all. But I mean, like, when is enough enough? Oh boy.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he thinks he still has jam. The roster hasn't really been hurt, and there's a lot of speculation that he's doing it just so he could be traded to a team that's pursuing a quarterback, and Tampa Bay receives some kind of compensation.
Really?
Because if you retire and you sit one full season, then you could go wherever you want. I think Tom, I'm calling him Tom like he's my buddy. Like, remember Tom? Remember Tom, the kid who went to Michigan? Yeah, I know. He lives in Florida now. Anyways, if he came back just to allow Tampa to move his rights to another team and they could get some type of compensation and he doesn't lose that 1 year, I think it's worth it. And I think it's a cool move for him and Tampa to move on amicably too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I
Instead of
didn't
saying I'm
even
coming
know
back,
that.
but I'm not going there and stomp his feet about it. Like, sit down, have a conversation. Everybody eats.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that was even an option. Like, I just assumed, okay, he's coming back. He's going to be slinging footballs for Tampa Bay another season, and here we go, the Gronk and Brady show all over again. I guess I mean.
Well, Gronk was associated. Gronk was loosely connected to Buffalo.
True.
Yeah, but I don't think any papers got done. If I'm Gronk, maybe I'd take 9, 10 million, 11 million instead of going back to Tampa for 4.5. You love Tom Brady, your homie's cool, but like go get the bag over there and let Tom try to figure it out over here, and vice versa.
I mean, if Tom is actually doing it for the reasons you said, right? Like come in for a season, whatever, and see what Tampa can get for you type thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then if I was Gronk, I would be looking out for myself at that point. You know what I mean?
If they come back and play, Chris Godwin's a free agent, unrestricted, and he's going to be expensive.
Yep. Oh, huge money.
Doubt they franchise him. So he's going to be coming back to Mike Evans and some other pieces, but he's going to be gone. Gronk is a year deeper on his body. He's been hurt for 7 seasons now. Every year he comes back with a different knock, and it's never the same Gronk.
Oh yeah.
When you get flashes of the old Gronk, he still looks like one of the best tight ends in the game.
Yeah. He don't get me wrong. We see the off the field Gronk, and how he's all wild and party, whatever. But this man on the field is a grade A football player, like top 5 probably tight ends ever to play in that position, right? Like
that's what makes him so interesting. He's such an elite ball player, and he could still just be a knucklehead.
Yeah,
he's partying, no shirt on all summer long. No, on the penicillin IV all freaking summer, just going nuts.
Yeah, he definitely.
And then he just shows up to camp, does 10 push-ups, eats a cheeseburger, and now he's still one of the top 8 tight ends in football.
Oh man,
shout out to Gronk, man.
He's just a different breed, that guy, man. I tell you, different breed. Different.
His parents have 5 children. I believe all 5 of them are brothers, and I believe all 5 of them have played some level of professional sport.
Really?
Yeah. You could Google it. I'm not entirely sure. I think I heard that on I was watching the LeBron James, the barbershop uninterrupted.
Oh yeah.
Where he has people on, and Gronk was on one of them, and someone mentioned him. I think it's him and his other 4 brothers all play pro ball.
That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
Crazy. Damn.
Yeah. Same thing with the Watt brothers. There's 3 Watt brothers in the NFL too.
Hey, just to get on brothers in general, like different sport altogether, but just recently the Stahl brothers all hit 1,000 games. First pair in NHL history where all 3 played 1,000 games.
Really? There's 3, right? Eric, Mark.
Yep. Detroit. Well, right now Stahl, the other one I think was playing in Iowa for the AHL farm system of Minnesota. He just played for Team Canada in the Olympics.
But who's the 3rd Stahl? It's Eric, Mark.
Eric, Mark, and
I want to say Jordan.
Jordan Stahl. It is Jordan. Yep.
Is it?
Jordan.
He played for the Penguins.
Yes, I believe so.
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. Really? All 3 of them hit 1,000 games.
1,000, man. You don't really hear that,
Hockey's not an easy game on the body.
No, definitely not.
If I got slashed on the glove, even I would be bitching about it for 3 weeks. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Like you see these guys take pucks off the skates and stuff, and it's like, wow, how did you
yeah,
stop? Oh man.
literally peel 3 teeth out of their mouth on the bench, whip it on the ground, get back out there. Like,
Yep, get back in there for sure. For
it's
sure.
amazing. I'll, I'll tell you, man, you can't take anything away from hockey players in that regard.
Nope, for sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely not, man. There were definitely some tough son of a bitches, man, for sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. One last little thing about brothers, like you said, the Slow Brothers got to 1,000 games.
Yep.
There are two Jones brothers, Chandler and I believe it's Arthur. Chandler
Okay.
and Arthur Jones. One plays for the Cardinals. He's a great D
Yep.
end, and Arthur Jones,
Yep.
I forget what he plays. They're both in the NFL, and
Mhm.
I believe he's the youngest brother. Is Johnny
Okay.
Bones Jones, former UFC light
Really?
heavyweight champion and
Seriously.
notorious troublemaker when it comes to
Yeah.
the testing committee.
Out of the ring shenanigans.
Yeah,
Yeah, that guy.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
allegedly.
Definitely the one of the most exciting fighters I've ever watched, for sure.
Absolutely. So imagine being that elite. The youngest brother is arguably the GOAT.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
For
know,
sure.
I mean, now as time goes by, I mean, Amanda Nunez, I don't know how you quantify the popularity and the level of the fight for the women's title in comparison to John Jones.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to take anything away from Amanda Nunez. In fact, I'm saying like she has been so dominant and she's not beating up bums.
No,
It's
she's
just
taking on like the elite.
is that division is just not nearly as deep as obviously as the men's divisions because they have a billion fighters in the men's divisions. But Amanda
Wow.
Nunez's dominance and ability to finish fights, she's up there with the Conor McGregors of the world and the not Habib finishers. The girl Chucky Liddell, Anderson Silva.
She goes off, man. She's pound for pound, like she's crazy. She
She's
gets the
scary,
job
man. She
done.
is a solid fighter. When Jake
Absolutely.
Paul started making all that noise, boxing, doing whatever, and he wanted to fight UFC guys,
Mhm.
Dana White's like, I'll send Amanda
Mhm.
Nunez over there. It's a wrap.
Supposedly, him and Dana are on better terms now, and because of this, he has reached out to Dana once again and said he wants to either box or MMA fight Conor McGregor, and if he wins, his what he had offered on the table before happens, and if not, then what was he'll just shut his mouth and leave it be.
I mean, I'm down for whatever. Like, yo, you have X amount of dollars to spend on entertainment and X amount of time to spend on entertainment. If you're willing to spend your 2 hours on a Saturday night to watch Jake Paul fight whatever jabroni he could wheel out,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Tyron Woodley had a great UFC career, but he's not a great boxer. And a lot of people feel like everything's fixed on it anyways. But like Jake Paul fought Nate Robinson, a 5-foot basketball player. He beat
Yeah.
up Ben Askren, who I think has 0 stoppages by strikes in his entire
He was
MMA career.
retired anyway and overweight when he came to that fight. So
Yeah. But yo, if you want to spend your time and your money and your effort to watch Jake Paul fight whoever they wheel out, then go for it, man. Enjoy yourself. And if Conor McGregor is willing to fight against Jake Paul in a boxing match, I think Conor McGregor takes him fairly handily. And in an MMA match, he'll kill him. Donald Cerrone, I think, is at like 70 pro fights, and Conor McGregor broke his nose with a shoulder.
I know, like just but you know what? Jake Paul, I give him credit in one way that he promotes himself exactly how he's supposed to do it. You know what I mean? He's just all about making money. He don't care. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
He's just stirring the pot to get followers to just fill his pockets,
To
man.
drive up the dollar. I get it. You want to drive up
I
the
mean, he's
ticket
never
price.
gonna fight a real boxer ever. He never will.
He was supposed to go against Tyson Fury's younger brother, or
Younger
maybe that
brother.
was the other Paul.
Nope.
And then
That
it
was
fell
that
apart.
Paul.
It was Jake.
That was that Paul. Jake.
Yeah.
Yep. And it just never happened. He ended up getting a rib injury during training, and it caused his lung to get infected. So it never happened. There's like a lung infection involved or something like that after it.
Yeah.
So they never squared off, and there's nothing been said about it ever since. So
I'm sure Lennox Lewis could smack the shit out of him today. Lennox is probably approaching 60. I'm sure Lennox Lewis kills him.
I
I'm
think
sure
Mike
Holyfield
Tyson
could
would
give
have
him the
done it too.
business.
I think Mike Tyson would have done it too, but that Mike Tyson squashed that.
Tyson's got like 2 rounds in it. Like maybe he has 2 rounds in him. And what does that do for boxing if Jake Paul knocks out a 60-year-old Mike Tyson?
Well, that's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Like I don't love people gatekeeping the legacy of like really, really old sports like boxing, like saying a guy from 1912 would have beat up like Mayweather or something. But yo,
Yeah.
you do not feed Mike Tyson today to a kid like Jake Paul who can't, he's just going to try to kill him. And he's going to knock him out and he's going to take the feather in his cap, and you disrespect the legacy of boxing.
I would love to see like someone like Manny Pacquiao mess him up or something, you know? I think that'd be awesome.
Yo, Gervonta Davis or one of these young kids, man. Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, no kidding though, for real.
You want
But
to
even
talk
that Fury kid,
You want to talk?
Fury kid would have been
Yeah, yeah, but he's a lot bigger. The weight classes, like, look, I think Ryan Garcia is a lot smaller than Jake Paul, but it doesn't matter. Get a real boxer in there, and Jake Paul's not going to touch him.
Well,
He's
this
never
is it,
going
right?
to touch him.
Nah. There's no way. Definitely not. There's no. It's no contest, man. Like you wouldn't stand a chance against a real boxer at all.
Yeah. Well,
no way.
I do think that it's interesting to see, because combat sports forever has been either 200 million in the traditional boxing realm. UFC has been grinding, but there's no real massive payday. If you're still a fighter and you're a bit past your prime, you don't want to fight some 20-year-old who wants to, take your soul out of your chest. You want to fight another 50-year-old guy that's kind of out of shape but still wants to go like you do. Keep fighting, man. If people will pay to watch you, do it. If that's your calling, you spent your life doing it, do it.
But you know how it is though. Sometimes, in boxing, UFC, all that stuff, you get a big name guy who was a big name guy at one time. He's on his way out. He's like 2 fights, 3 fight losses in a row already now. And you bring up the next up and comer to fight him, right? And usually that up and comer does win. It gives the old guy a chance to maybe stand his ground and okay, maybe he does deserve another big fight. But you've seen it where like this up and comer comes in, gets this guy who was a big name guy at one point, still holds his name though, you know what I mean? His relevance, and then adds that to his belt, you know what I mean? He just another notch in his belt, and
for sure. Well, yeah, you come in on your feet, you go out on your back. Like that's how most careers go. But I'm talking about those guys who are like 3 or 4 years past that point.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where they're like not fighting anymore, but they're like, you know what? I feel like I could still go. Like I'm sure Chucky can still kind of go. Like fighting. I think he fought Tito again recently.
Yeah, I think
like a little ways back. I don't know if he won or not, but
another like right now, I don't know if you ever heard that. Like it's what's that FC something?
Invicta.
It's a newer league, that FC Eagle or Eagle FC, I think it's called.
That's
that. Yeah. So I think the Nightmare Sanchez is fighting in that. Like if not just fought in it this weekend or something. I seen like previews of it and stuff like that, and posters and stuff every time you're on like online or something, it pops up. You know what I mean? I'm like,
that's a guy with a solid highlight reel.
Dude, that guy, he was crazy. Like that guy was a nightmare to deal with. Like
the fight against Clay Guida is one of my all-time favorites. It's such a scrap, and Guida's hair is everywhere, and he's just getting head kicked over and uppercutted over and over again. Just so classic.
Man. Yeah, so good. Yeah, real good.
Yeah. Definitely. So 1 or 2 more football points. Russell Wilson got traded to the Denver Broncos for like $1 billion draft picks and like 4 players, and everyone's still saying that Denver won that trade. So they gave up, I believe it's 2 first rounders, 2 second rounders, a 5th rounder, quarterback Drew Lock.
Yeah.
Linebacker, I believe his name is Shelby Harris, and the tight end, one of their young stars, Noah Fant. They gave all of that to Seattle for Russell Wilson, and I believe it's like a 4th rounder next year or something.
I think, 4th rounder in 2023. Yeah. To me, one of the biggest trades in football history, I think.
I think so, because the league has been showing that everybody's been talking about it. Much sharper football minds than me have been talking about it. It doesn't make sense to try to build through the draft anymore. You still will, but why would you use 1 or 2 draft picks trying to get 2 guys that may fill holes, or you send those draft picks to a team that can't really deal with salary and you take a star player? Von Miller was expensive and he didn't want to be on Denver anymore. They went and got him. He changed the LA defense. The same thing with Matt Stafford. The same thing with obviously not Tom Brady, but now you're going to see with Russell Wilson. What are draft picks if you don't have a quarterback?
See, my theory is you got to have a quarterback. If you're drafting a quarterback, you got to make sure you got to have a quarterback in front of him that is willing to at least show that young quarterback the ropes. You know what I mean? Like, look what that did in Green Bay with Favre to Rodgers, man.
Yeah.
That was like perfect.
Yeah, but
Perfect.
apparently Favre was not very hospitable to him.
No, but still, he telling me he didn't take notes.
No, he watched
He
Brett
literally
Favre
got
work.
caught by one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
And there's slight similarities in the games too.
There is.
Yeah. I always thought it was funny that Aaron Rodgers asked for help. He's like, I need help. They trade up into the first round that year to draft his replacement.
Yeah.
And since drafting Jordan Love, since drafting him, Aaron Rodgers has responded with back-to-back MVP seasons.
I know. And they've traded away players that he wanted to keep on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Unreal.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, it's amazing. They did it to Brett Favre because Brett was done, or he was close to done. Aaron Rodgers wasn't done. Aaron Rodgers was like, you think I'm done? Boom. 2 back-to-back MVP seasons. I think the MVP should have been Cooper Kupp this year, but that's a different discussion.
Cooper Kupp was definitely phenomenal.
Maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do that as a segment. We'll go back and redistribute the MVPs.
Sure. Yeah. I'm all for it. I mean,
yeah.
Like I've said, I'm
the year is 2001.
I'm not a Green Bay Packers fan, but Aaron Rodgers gets the job done every time, man. Every time. Like, except for this year in the playoffs, I guess.
Well, he's got a favorable division. He's a killer. I understand why he does well.
He's the Green Bay is going to be atop of that division again this season.
Absolutely. They went out and they gave him on the same day. So on Monday, I believe it was Monday, Aaron Rodgers news breaks, the 4 years, 200 million, 160 guaranteed, which you would think would be big news for 3-4 days.
Yeah.
3 hours later, the Russell Wilson trade goes down and completely pushes it down the
Just watching that, Ain't nobody talking about that no more. Russell Wilson traded. That's headline news right there.
But you tell me, would you rather roll the dice on Jordan Love and have an extra, I don't know, 50 million to put pieces and other stuff around him? That team has pieces. Bakhtiari's good. They're going to re-sign him. Devontae Adams, if you give him a long-term deal, but tell him Aaron's leaving, likely he doesn't stay. But
I get that, right? For sure. Like that makes absolute sense right there. I mean, I'm with you on that. I couldn't see that either way, really.
You got to stick by your MVP, but
you do.
It's just, I don't know, he pisses me off. Like, I get it. Like, I like that he doesn't care what people think about him, but he also like takes forever to say anything worth hearing. And then he's like standoffish, but he's still the MVP. And it's like Green Bay. So it's like, if he wasn't in Green Bay, would we be talking about this team at all?
I think no matter where Rodgers would be playing, I think we'd be talking about that team. I really do. Like, Rodgers is a big key to making a team great.
Absolutely.
I'm serious. Like, the man is unreal. He's good.
Well, he has the biggest contract in the game, in the history of the game, I would assume.
History, I think it is. Yeah. History of the game. Big contract.
We're gonna see how it shakes out. Free agency starts, I believe it's next week. And then more combine and pro day stuff coming up, and then towards the draft, I believe it's sometime in April, I believe.
Okay.
And let's go.
See what happens, right?
The NFL season never ends, because the second the Super Bowl's over, you start looking at who sheds contract where and who does whatever. I feel like that's a big thing, and obviously comparing them is not fair to the CFL, but I feel like that's a big problem the CFL has. If they're not on TV and if they're not in the newspaper and live scores happening and the season's actually happening, the CFL disappears from everybody's mind. People don't think about the draft. They don't think about the combine.
No, because they don't market it right, man. The league is the marketing behind that league is totally failed. Like, I mean, I'm glad that they're getting it out to other countries now. Like, this is why we're doing an international draft in the CFL now. You know what I mean? We're picking out players from like Mexico, Germany. Like, there's leagues actually all over in Europe that I never even knew about. Like, you know what I mean? The last time I've heard about football in Europe would have been like the NFL Europe, like the farm system that NFL tried back in the day that flopped after so many seasons. But I mean, like
but got a
Canada's reached out,
generation
right?
of European kids into the game of football.
Yes.
And we saw European players in the league now.
Yes, absolutely. No, it's cool to see that CFL does that, but they got to market the game better. They got to start locking players in for longer than 1 year contracts.
Mhm.
They sat down and they worked out some stuff on the CBA and stuff, whatever, right? So I mean, it's gotten a little better, but they got to start marketing and keeping these big name players that are in the CFL here. So
Yeah.
like, because I mean,
Back when we were kids, there was continuity with rosters. Now you could have a quarterback who's good end up on
yeah,
4 different teams in 4 years.
yes, and even that's becoming hard to come by as a good big name quarterback in the league. To be honest, we haven't really had like. I mean, Bo Levi Mitchell's fading out. Mark
Yeah, but
Riley just retired. We
is
got an up and coming kid
what's Bo Levi Mitchell's like what's his resume like? How many MVPs does this guy have? How many Grey Cup championships?
Grey Cup. He's got one. He's brought his team there though
Only one?
multiple times. Yeah, I think he's only won the Grey Cup once. He's flopped multiple times at the Grey Cup.
Mm.
I mean, but like big name quarterbacks, there hasn't really been a big name since Calvillo, like for real. Mike Riley, maybe
Since
Bo
the
Levi
GOAT.
Mitchell was in the top, but Riley's gone. Bo Levi Mitchell's retired. I mean, we've got a young kid in Montreal coming up, Vernon Adams. I think the kid's a stud. I've been watching him since university ball and for Oregon Ducks, man. Like
Yeah.
they got a crazy football program down there. This kid, I was actually quite surprised he never got an NFL shot. He's 28 now, but
Ooh, Vernon Adams?
Yeah.
He's solid. I mean, I look, if you look at the 64 best quarterbacks on the planet, Vernon Adams isn't in it, obviously, right? So,
no. But I mean, his numbers in
to come into
university
camp
weren't.
once in a while, maybe. I don't know if 28 is too old to be considered someone to take a chance on in camp, or just old enough to understand the quarterback position the way you want them to understand it by now.
Okay, well, I mean, the last two quarterbacks to go from the CFL to the NFL and actually do something, Garcia and Flutie. And Flutie was ancient when he left.
Really?
He was pretty old, man. Bills and then Chargers. I think he retired when he was like 41.
That's true. And Flutie left as the GOAT.
Well, this is what I'm saying, right?
Like when Flutie left the CFL, he was the greatest quarterback
Yeah. I mean,
the Canadian game has ever seen.
I mean, we've produced some big name quarterbacks here that have done stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even players like Cameron Wake, he was that
Mm-hmm.
that guy's a freak of nature to begin with. Like how he didn't get picked up NFL first is beyond me. But
You know,
I mean,
sometimes
we
think
made
about back in the day. You used to have to travel, like really travel to scout guys coming out of college and stuff.
True.
Now there's probably a network with every single draft eligible guy's pro day on it.
Yeah.
Which, to be honest, I would love access to that. Do a little of my own research. Nice. But if you're there's probably 1,000 players in consideration for those 7 rounds of draft. You know what I mean? Easily coming out of the United States every single year. So wouldn't you centralize all that footage? That would be amazing for a scout.
That would be, yeah, that'd be ideal, really.
So there's a chance that back in the day, someone just missed Cameron Wake.
And I mean, being that there's so much talent down there too, and like it's such a big pool to pick from, it's easily missed. Like it happens, like on the daily, I'm sure of it.
Now in the American high school football system, kids move from all over the country to play at specific schools in specific towns.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no West Canaan Coyotes. No right. Good old boys from around the neighborhood.
Exactly. Like just because you're from Seattle doesn't mean you ain't playing ball down in Alabama. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I understand going for college, but for high school,
like high school, it's moving around like that though. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
It's great that they're mobilizing talent and mobilizing the resources of people who know the sport and want to develop this next generation of kids.
Yeah, no, for sure. Just gonna make the sport better.
Absolutely. One last little tidbit on Tom Brady. He was spotted in Manchester. I believe they were playing in Manchester, hanging out with Cristiano Ronaldo.
The GOAT.
He hangs out with Cristiano for one day and now wants to come back to football, saying he has unfinished business.
Coincidence? I don't know.
Well, when you're in the presence of greatness, like a player like CR7, it makes you rethink all your choices. Makes you rethink your dedication and your purpose in this world. When you're in the presence of a true top of the mountain type talent like Cristiano Ronaldo. Like, I don't care how many Super Bowls Brady has. He doesn't have a lick of the ability or fucking godliness that Cristiano has in one of his sneakers.
Well, I mean, Cristiano Ronaldo is like worldwide, like GOAT. You know what I mean? Like this guy is known everywhere. Like Tom Brady is not known everywhere. You know what I mean? Like seriously.
He is married to, I mean, I don't know if she is now, but for a long stretch, the biggest supermodel on the planet. She is known everywhere.
Fair enough.
So you see him with her.
True. Pretty sure. Yeah.
I could imagine the most elite fashion magazines. Gisele Bundchen's husband did good at some sort of sporting event. Yes.
Yeah.
I should buy a new purse about it.
Yes.
Yeah. So Tom Brady comes back to the game after bearing witness to Cristiano Ronaldo at 37 years old. Scores a hat trick to lead Manchester United over Tottenham. It was a big game. Both teams needed the points. He becomes the single greatest goal scorer in the history of the sport with the hat trick yesterday. Cristiano now has more goals than anybody else to ever play.
That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's
Meanwhile,
huge.
at 34, Lionel Messi is going home in the Champions League while playing with some of the most elite talent in Europe and puts up a goose egg. While Cristiano is still being the best player on the field every time. Well, not every time he goes out on the field, but every field he's on, if everyone plays up to their potential, he is still the best player on the planet.
For sure he is. Like, hands down. I mean, Messi, number 2, for sure.
He's not going box to box and being the general in the midfield. But when the clock's ticking and the crowd's singing and the rain's pouring and you need someone to put it under the crossbar, here comes Cristiano. Here comes Cristiano.
Give him the ball. Yep. He's clutch like that.
time.
He's clutch like that. Yep. Absolutely.
3 years ago, at 34 in the quarterfinals, they needed a hat trick. They needed 3 goals. They need to win 3-0 to advance past Atletico Madrid. And he was still playing for Juventus. And he came out and he scored the hattie.
Here's my question, man. How much longer do you think he has?
That's a good question, because I think in Europe, maybe another 2 or 3 years, maybe another two at near his best. And then maybe he comes to Miami.
Okay, hold on. You think he would seriously come to Miami at the age of 40? Seriously.
Why not?
That's just like, I guess if you're still doing it, I mean, do you think him at 40 would be better than the top player in the MLS?
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Fair enough. I mean, MLS is like,
can he run up and down the field for 90 minutes with some of these kids? Probably not.
But he like you said, he'll do what he does, gets the job done when he needs to, right?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, like, well, even when Drogba came to the MLS, people thought he was finished, right? And he lit it up that first season.
Yeah. He wasn't finished. He was just closer to finished.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
You know, he could still go, but some people don't belong in Europe anymore, right? Playing in the European game, it's a level above anywhere else on the planet.
Yes.
Some people don't belong in Europe anymore.
Yes.
Whether it's age, decline in talent, decline in passion, whatever it is. However, they're not good enough for Europe. Level talent can be elite and history making in the MLS.
See, this is my thing though. Is the MLS a development league, or is it trying to be a league on its own?
It is our league. It is the North American League. Well, North American, it's Canada and the United States. It is the best. Look, there are resources in the MLS. The United States puts a lot of money into this league.
Yes, they do.
Great for developing
and it
Canadian
reflects
players.
on them for sure.
It's a home for a lot of Caribbean players.
Yes.
It's a home for a lot of Central and South American players.
South Americans, yes, for sure.
You know, some people from, you got a guy coming from Trinidad or from Haiti or from, one of the one of those Caribbean countries.
Yes.
Maybe they're more comfortable playing in a place like Toronto.
True.
You know what I mean? Rather than playing in a place like El Salvador or Panama or, you know what I mean? Like you go and play in Mexico. I don't know if every team has translators for you, and if you're from Costa Rica, maybe you want to play in the Mexican league or somewhere in Central or South America rather than playing in, Montreal,
So
for example.
when it comes to the MLS comparing to certain soccer leagues, right? Would like the Mexico League be a tier above, a couple tiers above? Would it be lower?
Well,
Would the
they
South America, Central America leagues be better? Like it would
yeah.
like
So South America has killer leagues. Like the best teams out of South America will probably
besides
come.
Brazil. I mean, I know Brazil's nuts. I mean, I see like all these other teams play too, though. But
They're the best Mexican team should be the best MLS team 98 times out of 100.
okay.
Should.
All right,
But I
fair
mean,
enough.
it depends. Like sometimes you get great MLS teams. The MLS is expanding in a way that it's actually bringing in young, talented players from a lot of the CONCACAF region, but you still get some
Okay,
European, you still get a fair amount of European talent, and you still get a fair amount of South American talent too.
yeah.
We've got a lot
So
of good players from Africa. Like it's still a global league. There's still players from all over the planet who will come here to play, and it's still a level. There's probably better leagues if you want to play in, I don't know, Belgium, for example, in
yep,
Europe.
yep, yep.
It's maybe that league isn't comparable to the MLS, but the MLS can give you, game after game after game. You don't have to learn Flemish or whatever you're
Oh,
speaking or
you-
French. You could speak whatever your teammates speak with you or whatever the city you're in. If you're French, play in Montreal.
no doubt, no doubt.
Rather than playing in, Turkey and trying to learn how to speak Turkish.
Here's a question for you.
It gives players options.
Here's a question for you. How long till Neymar makes his debut in the MLS?
Oh, he's such a clown. This guy is such an absolute clown.
What is going on through that man's mind these days? Like, what is wrong with him?
He is
Like, why is he trying to stir the pot? For what reason? Like, why?
He is so concerned with his image and looking good,
Like,
and being Neymar beyond soccer, just being the face when they see him. It's like, it's Neymar.
I get
It's
it. You're a
good.
superstar. You know what I mean?
He
You're a big
is.
name.
Yeah,
But
he's
why
also
are
a
you?
superstar playing in France.
Yeah,
Why don't
yeah.
you come play? Why don't you come play for one of the English sides and get beat up on cold nights in
Like,
freaking
how
Stoke every
long? How
Wednesday?
long?
Like
How long has Neymar been in France playing now?
5 years.
Okay, and before that, where'd he come from?
He was playing for Barcelona.
It was Barcelona, right? Okay, yeah.
Play with
Okay.
Messi and
So
Suarez, Champions Leagues, all the
yeah,
greatest
yeah.
names in the world.
So what you're saying is that he could be playing in a better league, but rather not because he's getting paid
Yeah.
big money where he is, or
You could get that money from almost anywhere in the world. When he is
so
on, he is such an elite talent, but he
yes.
decides to act like such a putz, man. He hits the ground and rolls and cries. It seems like every time there's a big game, he's hurt. There's this thing where he always ends up hurt right around his sister's birthday.
Come on.
And flies back to Brazil and parties it up with his sister for her birthday, and then 2 weeks later he's back in training. Like,
no.
yeah, he has actually sustained some pretty horrific injuries in his career, but it always seems like he picks up a knock here and there and he disappears. And I can't name one big game where he excelled, where he was the man. You know what I mean? Where it really mattered. PSG gets knocked out a lot. They made it to the finals. He didn't show up.
Oh man.
Actually, maybe he was hurt for that. Well, either way, 0 on the score sheet.
Was it around his sister's birthday?
And he even came out and said, because they asked him about coming to the MLS, and he said that he's interested in having longer vacations.
So the MLS would provide that for him then.
Well, because the league doesn't run like Europe does.
Yes.
Europe runs from August until June, late May.
But I was gonna say, well, don't they have their own little like for instance, Canada's got the Canada Cup or whatever it is, right? That they play the two leagues that are here, the CPL and the MLS 3 teams. They play this Canadian Cup or something, don't they? Does the States have something like that too, though?
Yeah, US Open.
So wouldn't Neymar be playing if he came to his team in the States? Wouldn't he be playing in that too?
Yeah, but it's not the same. It's not the same as the schedule in Europe.
Okay.
When
So it's less time playing then, right?
Well, because you have domestic cups too, right? So say for example, I'm Cristiano Ronaldo. I play for Manchester United, and Manchester United is in the League Cup.
Yes.
Which is like every single team above a certain tier is in it. There's the FA Cup or the Coppa Italia in Italy or Copa del Rey in Spain, which is all the eligible teams from a certain level up play in a tournament, and you win that. There's the domestic title, where whoever has the most points after 39 games wins the championship, and then there's Champions League.
Okay.
Those are 4 cups that you can win. So if you're a player like Neymar, who does it in France,
yes,
there's a lot of games to play. And you have to go back and play for Brazil or whatever your home country is.
true, right?
If you play in the MLS, yeah, there's a US Cup, but it's like you play, it's only one if you're in CONCACAF Champions League.
Yes.
And
yes.
knowing Neymar, he would take those off. Like, I mean, why would he care?
So he wouldn't represent his, like, for instance, has he been playing for matches for Brazil for World Cup stuff at all?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He always, yeah, when he's healthy, he plays for them.
All right.
But I mean, he says he wants longer vacations and he's going to treat it as a retirement. And you know what? If your heart's not in it, if you're not trying to be the best player in Europe anymore, he said he left Barcelona because he wanted to win the Ballon d'Or.
Why?
He wanted to win the Ballon d'Or, the best player in the world. And
he thought he can do it where he went to now.
Well, he thought that being under Messi's shadow at Barcelona, he was never going to get steam. He goes to PSG. He scores some worldies. They win the French league, but they never win Champions League. And a couple of years later, he leaves Barcelona. Who comes strolling in? Lionel Messi.
True, that's right.
And Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe did not show up for that Champions League final. Not the Champions League final, the quarterfinal. They just lost to Real Madrid.
Yes, and it's crazy because those are 3 like top tier guys too.
Well, they're
like I
3
love
of the top
Messi.
7 talents in the world for
like
football,
I love watching Messi play. I'm a fan. You know what I mean? I feel sorry for the guy because like he definitely wears his heart on his sleeve when he plays. You know what I mean? And this man does deserve to win it all. He really does. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it's just
man.
He
could have played anywhere in the world.
Shadow of Cristiano. He'll always be the shadow of Cristiano. Always.
A lot of people think he's better. He could have went to Manchester City.
He
could have found the money. They could have found They could have found the money for him to play anywhere in the world he wanted, including back at Barcelona. He could have took $1.
True.
And if he scores over 30 goals at the end of the season, 9 months from now, you could give him another 30 million or something.
Is that doable for Messi? 30 goals?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, not this year. He looks awful this year, but
yes.
You know what I mean? He could have went anywhere in the world. He could have chose the best competition, the best talent, the best whatever. He chose to go to France on a team that was so choked down with money and superstar talent. No one plays no one's a teammate on that team. They're all just superstars.
Single. Yeah.
And like you got to like Gigi Wijnaldum played at Liverpool, great player in the midfield. Marco Verratti, the people would be talking about him in the best midfielders in the world if he played anywhere else. But on PSG, he spends all his time chasing people around because the 3 guys who play up front don't come back on defense.
Oh man!
So now it's 7 against 9 every time.
You can't like. I mean, we've seen it in so many times where in so many different sports where like you stack a team with all these superstars and they do nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing. It's because they can't play as a unit. They're all used to being that star.
Absolutely.
Like, geez, man.
You're better off with 2 stiffs next to Messi.
It would be cool to see Messi and like Cristiano play together, though.
Well, that's one of the rumors that if Cristiano and Manchester don't end up on the same page by the end of the year, and Kylian Mbappe is very likely to be going to Real Madrid, they're talking about the Neymar, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo front 3.
Come on.
Which is easily the best, arguably the 3 biggest names of the 2010s.
That would be wow.
That would be insanity. It would be absolute insanity. But if you can't make it work with a kid like Mbappe, who's on his way up, but if you can't convince him to buy in, you think Cristiano is going to give a shit about Neymar?
No. See, Neymar is just that bad seed who's ruining it all. Why don't they get rid of him?
Yeah, they spent 220 million euro to bring him over.
Oh, wow.
220. It's obscene.
Well, we know soccer players are what I think they're the highest paid athletes in all of the world in any sport, I believe.
Well, a lot of them.
If you're a big name, you know what I mean? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the money they make is crazy. But I mean, I get it, because I'll tell you right now, I could never ever run that field for that long
Mhm.
and do what they do with that ball with their feet. Like, that is just, I don't know how they get balls to curve the way they curve, and dribbling a soccer ball is, yeah, no, just
Because they're the best players.
mad.
Because it's the best sport in the world. I'm telling you, I'm trying to convert people to soccer one day at a time.
Hey, I'm
Yeah.
on a bandwagon now,
Yeah.
just I'm getting there. I am. So I mean,
Absolutely.
I love the sport now. I
Absolutely.
really do. I have a passion for it. So.
Just a quick update. The game in Toronto against Jamaica sold out within
Yes, it
a day
is.
or two.
Yeah, man.
The
The
goons are
passion's
gonna
here,
be
bro.
out.
I love it. I love it. I
The
love seeing the
goons are
passion.
gonna be out in BMO Field.
And you know what's crazy? Some of these fans aren't even like true soccer fans. We're just happy to see our country doing well at it, man.
Absolutely.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I love it. I love it.
Fantastic. All
Mhm.
right. Cory Chan,
Yes, brother.
anything else you wanna add before we wrap it up this evening?
Not much, man. I mean, you know what? Uh, this whole podcast thing in general, man.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fun. I enjoy doing this with you, brother.
We're
This is
over
good.
100 views for the first one, so
This is good. It's a lot of
yeah.
fun, man.
Yeah,
I like it.
Paul brothers eat our dust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right on, brother. Right on.
Yeah, the cream rises to the top, brother. Oh, that's one last thing I wanted to say. A little bit of bad news to close the podcast. Scott Hall, aka Razor Ramon, is not doing so good. He's in critical condition. He had 3 heart attacks.
Yeah.
He's in
Yeah.
bad shape. So
Heard that was
all our wrestling fans out there, chew on a toothpick tonight, and hopefully Scott Hall gets up off the mat and he's gonna be okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Although I heard it had something to do with the hip surgery or something, man.
Yeah, maybe he got sick afterwards. I'm not sure.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Sad
I
to
mean,
see.
he's an all-timer. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
growing up is watching our heroes turn human in front of us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
For sure, brother. For sure.
So we got some stuff coming up, man. We're gonna try to make sure we're gonna get out a podcast at least every single week.
Yeah, man.
We got some guests coming up. We're gonna work on a couple of new segments. We got a couple of ideas, and it's the second one out of the gate. We're constantly gonna be working at it. Chan, the sky's the limit.
Yes, brother, it is.
And let's keep going. And anyone who watches, comment some stuff you want to hear us talk about,
Yeah.
or
Anything you want us to hear talk about,
you
you
know,
want us to hear express, whatever. We'll
tell you what,
yeah,
everybody in the comments this week, tell us who your favorite band is.
Yeah,
And
yeah, for sure. Let's hear it.
and we'll do a versus next week. We'll put them up against each other.
Perfect. Sounds good. I'm down.
All right. For the man in Manitoba, Cory Chan, I'm Don the Jewla. Say goodnight to the bad guys.
Peace out, homie.
We out.
Love ya.
Love you too, bud.